Alrighty, hello everybody. Here we are, we're back. Some of you may have seen me earlier today, so you know there's something on my mind. We are 41 minutes away from the possible execution of Walter Barton in Missouri. We're hoping that doesn't happen. We're hoping that Governor Parson will be sensible and stay the execution and look into it and see and really determine whether or not he wants to, in this particular case, whether or not he wants to put somebody to death and take somebody's life over the case. And I'll tell you from what I reviewed of it earlier today, a little bit that I reviewed of it earlier today in an article, which the article is down below in the description for you guys if you want. And what I've been seeing on, Facebook and stuff. I was over at the live broadcast the governor of Missouri did earlier and stuff like that. So, so we are 40 minutes away from that potentially happening. We hope it doesn't. So what I'm asking you guys to do is to please send an email or to call. And I've left the email link or the email address thing, where you can go to send an email down below, and I've left the phone number down below. Hi Cherie, hi Jerome, hey Nothing But a Stump, hey Sharon. Who else am I missing? Mandy, hey Mandy, how you doing? So I'm going to be asking you guys to do that, obviously. So let me just go ahead and throw those links up in the live chat for you guys real quick. No, that ain't right. Wait, yeah, it is. Hold on, it doesn't work too well that way. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm gonna get you guys the link for the email real quick. I am gonna talk to you about the word limit here in just a second, so bear with me. Okay, so here is the link to go send an email asking Governor Parson to please at least do a temporary stay so that he can do an investigation and take a look into some of the circumstances himself. That's what we would hope for. So here's the link for you guys to be able to go do that. And if you want to call the governor's office, and this is for anybody that didn't do so earlier, I'm hoping that now, because I'm going a little bit later in the day here, I'm hoping I might be catching people coming home from work, maybe people that we didn't catch this morning. So that's part of my hope here. But we want to send as many as possible. Here we are. We're at 38 minutes left. 38 minutes left, potentially left in that man's life. And like I said, the details in the case and in the prosecution of this are extremely sketchy. I personally, the death penalty in a case as sketchy as this needs to be, needs to be taken off the table. But I hope at least the Governor Parson will take a look. So here is the phone number for you guys. Whoops. All right, that's the phone number to call the governor's office. So any of you that haven't, please do. Anyway, okay. So before we get back to talking more about Walter Barton, real quickly, just want to show you guys that the Court of Appeals did in fact, grant the word limit increase for the state. So I just want to show you guys that real quick. I was over on Twitter, looking around for things about Walter Barton, and ended up seeing Miss Carla Chase's tweet where she showed that the word increase had been granted. So here's that real quick. So there it is. So you can see down here Motion to expand word limit, that the motion to enlarge the respondent brief to 35,000 words is granted. Okay, so word to 35,000 words is granted. So there it is. The word increase has been granted. Sapper is correct. The governor did say on Monday that he wasn't going to do anything about it. He's true. Sapper is correct in that. So anyways, this is what I wanted to show you guys, that the state did get their increase in the word limit granted. So that's where that's at. And hopefully, like Jerome Buting was saying in his tweet that I showed you guys yesterday, hopefully that this means that the state's ready to file and that we are going to get, the state's response here on whatever it is, the 27th or 29th or whatever day it's due. So maybe that's what we're going to see here now. Because like Jerry was saying, this most likely suggests they finished it. It was all done. It had been, proofread and edited or whatever, and it was ready to go, and it was over the word limit. And so they had to ask for more. They had to ask for a higher word limit. That's what he's reasoning happened. So if so, we're going to be getting the state's response here before the end of the month. So, all right. That's in Avery Dassey news, particularly Avery in this case, seeing as it's Avery's appeal. SCOTUS dropped the ball again, which is no surprise. Yeah, I hear you, Sapper. I do. I hear you. But, look, hopefully if enough people, call and they see that enough people are interested and enough people are taking an interest, maybe that might sway them to just go ahead and do the sensible thing. You know what I mean? In Missouri. And just do the sensible thing and say, okay, hold on. Let's hold up here. Let's put the brakes on. Okay. And now let's go ahead and look into this a little bit. Let's find out what all these people are talking about. There's a lot of people out there messaging us saying that maybe we need to take another look at this. Well, maybe we do. So hopefully that might happen. I'm not saying it will, but hopefully that's what's going to happen. I don't really, when I see what's going on with this particular case, I don't think it's a strong conviction at all. And then when I find out that the prosecutors had to try this case 5 times because they bungled it the first 4 times with various forms of prosecutorial misconduct, like Brady violations and all kinds of stuff, right? And then eventually, and then you find out the witness that ended up testifying at his 5th trial, which was basically booted out of his 4th trial because the judge was so offended that the prosecution even brought this procured jailhouse snitch in, and the judge in the 4th trial completely threw it out and threw the whole thing out or whatever. Then they had to hand it off to another attorney, a different attorney than this little whatever cabal, the attorney general's little I don't know what you would call it, cabal, little inner circle, whatever, of prosecutors. So these guys couldn't do anymore because they basically already 4 times they'd already screwed it up and committed prosecutorial misconduct. So they had to hand it off to a completely different lawyer who was able to eventually argue it and get it. But that's sketchy to me. Why in the first 4 trials were they attempting so much misconduct? You know what I mean? So I feel for Walter Barton. He's now 32 minutes. 32 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's rough. So like I said, I've got the email and the phone number down below. I've posted it in the live chat here. Think about if it was you, folks, sitting on death row for a crime you didn't commit, and you're 32 minutes away. Think about the mind screw that would be. Can you? I'm sure we can't even imagine, but just that's what he's going through. That's what he's going through. Because I don't believe he did this. One big reason why there's a couple big reasons why I don't think he did, but one of the main reasons is number one, the narrative of how the killing happened. We're talking throat slashing, 12 stabs, and all that stuff. This would be, whoever did this would be covered in blood. Covered. Literally head to toe in blood. But Walter Barton was one of the people that found the deceased. And he had tiny little specks of blood, probably from when he walked in and found the deceased. Tiny little specks are not sufficient if you want to say that this man performed that heinous act with the throat slashing and 12 stab wounds and all that. That's a massive amount of blood that's going to be going all over the place. So it's just not plausible that some tiny little specks on Walter Barton constitute that he was the one that did this. And then, folks, then you add the fact that in that article they talked about the fingernail scrapings. Again with the ignoring the fingernail scrapings. What the hell? Anyway. So, all right, so that's the Avery news. All right, moving on. So the state got their word limit, increased word limit granted. There we go. All right, now, so like I'm saying here, we're going to do a little bit of a countdown until 6 o'clock Central, and we're going to talk about we're going to talk about Walter Barton and that sort of stuff, and hopefully, dude, the governor is always in a meeting. Yeah, Jerome, I know. That's what his assistants are always going to tell you anyway. There is assistants, and they don't even have enough. They don't even have enough like clout to go and disturb him. They probably have to go disturb somebody else who would then go and disturb him. Right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right. So, but trust me, the fact that, say, 500, 1,000 phone messages all came in, asking the governor to take a closer look at Walter Barton's case, that's going to get to him. The fact that many messages, that is going to get delivered. So that's what we're hoping for. And, so many phone messages and so many emails. And, oh, my God, Governor, our social media, there's people all over our social media talking about this, on our Facebook page talking about this. You know what I mean? That's what we hope for. We were over on their page earlier when they were live, and we were on their page, and we were running around there, and we were trying to create awareness for what was going on. So, yeah. So we're at so 28 minutes left at this point. I hope it's not 28 minutes left for Walter. I hope it's just I like to look at it right now as just a window for the governor of Missouri to just man up and do the right thing. It doesn't hurt to just be sure. It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. The governor requires a disturbing vision, and he is overcome by distress. He has no choice but to stay. Mr. Untouchable, too bad. That never happens. The state only cares about convictions and not how they get them. Sapper, the system works when both sides are honestly looking for the actual truth. That's true. Sapper, do you just come to my lives now to just be like the little rain cloud? I mean, jeez. We built this system. We allowed it to continue to exist as it is for all intents and purposes. We are sticking the needle in the arm. So, although I think Sapper means this in a little different way because he's trying to kind of put the screws to everybody, but I'll say that there's some truth in this. For all intents and purposes, we are sticking the needle in his arm. We kind of are, because We're only now, because of things like Making a Murderer and other things like that, we're only now getting around to analyzing this stuff and trying to determine, if it's right and if it's just. And so, yeah, that's where it is, right? It's unfortunate, but but hopefully with more and more as we become more and more aware, and as we continue to spread more and more awareness, and more people start to open their minds to the fact that wrongful convictions do happen, and DAs and all those folks aren't the lily white knights that we all kind of foolishly thought we could believe they were. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they're just not the ultra, white, never do anything wrong. It's just not, it's not realistic. Let's see here. It hurts when people do nothing. Yeah. Guys, I'm confused. I thought it was decided over. No, I mean, I'm here for any amount of time he might have. As far as I know, it's always been 6 o'clock Central. So as far as I know, it's 5:35 Central right now. That's right. Am I right? Those in the Central time zone, let me know. Am I right? Is it 5:35 there right now? No worries, Sapper. I understand that. I do. I really do. And I understand how you can feel down and how it all can be frustrating. So I do understand all that. A lot of people don't believe in the death penalty. I personally, I think prior to MAM, I would have probably had a different opinion about the death penalty. But now, post MAM, after seeing all the things that I've seen from the Innocence Projects and all the things that I've seen now, no, I have absolutely no confidence in our criminal justice system's ability to determine whether or not to take someone's life. I'm sorry. They get it wrong too much. And the Innocence Projects are proving that they get it wrong too often. Already, they get it wrong too often. And who knows how many other ones they're getting wrong that we don't know about yet. Right? So, you know what I mean, folks? So, yeah. So, I mean, I've come to the belief since MAM that, yeah, the death penalty is kind of stupid and pointless. We really have no business even trying to pretend that we're qualified and responsible enough to make that decision to take someone's life. We're not. If we tell ourselves we are, we're fooling ourselves. But they're not good people either. If they were, they would do the right thing. That's true. So it is 5:35. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you. Decision to stay denied is what I thought had been decided. I hope the hell I am wrong. Well, you may have seen a decision. Oh, you saw the thing from the... Okay, I know what... Okay, sorry. I know what Rhonda's talking about. That was... You guys saw the thumbnail I had for the video. So that was not... all right, hold on. That was not the governor. That was not about the governor. Let me see here. Let me just bring this up. Make this a little bigger. Okay. You screen share this with you real quick. This is what Nothing But a Stump is talking about. So let me just show you guys this real quick. This was the thumbnail for the video. You guys saw this before the video started. I think this is what she's looking at. So what this is saying is that the United States Supreme Court itself, because they petitioned the United States Supreme Court to step in and issue a stay here. But the Missourians, for alternatives to the, not sure what that is over there, but anyway, just received word that the U.S. Supreme Court will not stay the execution of Walter Archie Barton. We hold you in solace as we mourn this tragic decision. Hashtag abolish the death penalty. Hashtag end state sanctioned murder. So, this is from what she posted as well. Nothing but a stump. So this is what you're talking about. This is it. But this is about SCOTUS. They tried to get that. This is about them trying to get SCOTUS to intervene, but it looks like SCOTUS chose not to. That's what this is saying. So the governor can still, the governor can act literally up until the moment that up until the moment they administer the injection. He can act at any point. So there's still 21 minutes left. The governor in the next 21 minutes could still choose to stay the execution and look into it. I hope he will, because I honestly think if he doesn't, he's going to end up with a lot of bad press that he never wanted. You know, because Walter's case does have merit. The fact that Walter may have been wrongly convicted has merit. I think it's more than just an off chance. You know what I mean? Judging by what I see in terms of the evidence of the way it came in. You know what I mean? So I think there's issues here. And then I find out about this prosecutorial team, which with Mark Woodland, they tried 3 separate prosecutions and bungled those and kept committing, Brady violations and everything. And so eventually they had to hand it off to another prosecuting attorney. And when they did that prosecuting attorney looked at the case and said, no, I don't have enough here to bring a case against Mark. And that was it. It was over. And Mark finally got to, but he'd been in prison for 17 years fighting the cases, So, I don't know. Should I try calling him? Should I try calling the governor's office? So that's what you were talking about there. Nothing but a stump. So I hope that clears that up. That just means that the Supreme Court of the United States chose not to help. But the governor still could act. Where did it go? Here it goes. He's not in the meeting. That's just what they tell you. I know, Sapper. That's what I was telling Jerome. Yeah. So Jerome, I told you, man. I'm telling you, dude. The president is addicted to Twitter. You should have been over trying to get him on Twitter. That's what you should have been doing. But I hope everybody will consider giving a call or an email or both. We're in the last, 17 minutes. Walter's looking at his last 17 minutes. Right? I mean, I hope the Missouri governor, Parson, I just hope he has the good sense to not just keep his head in the sand. Because that's probably what he wants to do. He wants to keep his head down and not look. He wants to keep the blinders on. But he needs to have more sense than that. Because as much question, as the lawyers at the Innocence Project have already created, if they kill him at that point, they're going to create bad press. And I think it's bad for them. I think they would be ill-advised, very ill-advised, to just do nothing and let this go. But we're in the last 16 minutes. And I don't know that I don't know that we'll know I don't know how long it's going to take us to find out what happened. I mean, honestly, the best I can hope for is that his lawyers will just start, we'll get out on Twitter saying, the governor is granted a stay or something like that, but we don't know. I imagine that Ricky Kidd is probably working pretty hard right now, trying to work on the governor. I know he said he called yesterday. I know he went live and he was encouraging everybody to get involved and do something to help out. Walter Barton. I know when I got onto Twitter today, I saw a lot of people like Marty Taincliffe, Laura Nyrider, a whole bunch of different people were tweeting, like even Diane. A lot of people were tweeting about Walter Barton, trying to, raise the call and trying to raise the awareness and trying to do what's right. What does an online vigil do? I don't know. Who was talking about an online vigil? All right. Oh, I see up here. Okay. There's an online vigil going on now in Mad PMO Facebook right now. I don't know. Let's try it. I'm concerned about doing it while on video. I'm concerned that could create some kind of problem or wrinkle that I don't want to create. But so that's why the only reason I'm not calling them on video. But I hope you all who aren't live on video are calling. He's in his last 13 minutes now. So, and I'm hoping we're going to hear, something favorable, something that went his way. And, that's what I would like to see here. It's like I say, when in hearing about the evidence in this, it's unconvincing. I don't know how death penalty ever got attached to this personally. But yeah, ultimately, I think the system is proving that just exactly how irresponsible it is and exactly how it has absolutely no business running around trying to decide which lives it can take and which lives it can't. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. It's like I say, the data coming out of the Innocence Projects giving us at least some indicator of how much we're getting it wrong, tells us we have no business with the death penalty. We're far too irresponsible at this point to be able to do that. What more wrinkles could be created, though? Well, they're walking him towards it, or something. I mean, I don't know exactly. Hopefully, his lawyers might be succeeding right now and might be convincing the governor. I hope so, because I really see that if Governor Parson is actually a good guy who actually has a conscience, I foresee that he is going to have great regret over this, because I'm pretty sure the Innocence Project is going to find some more things about Barton's case, Walter Barton's case, and I think his conscience is going to be a big problem for him if he doesn't think this through and if he doesn't act reasonably. And I really hope he does. I truly, truly do hope that he does. Turn off camera and mic. Quick, let's see. I just quick read 6 facts to know on the case from the Innocence Project. I'm shocked and disturbed by the fact that nothing links him to the murder. You're right, Dustin. Nothing links him to the murder, other than the tiny little specks, apparently, of blood that he had on a piece of his clothing. But he's one of the 3 people that found her. So they came in and found her in this bloody scene where she had her throat slit and 12 stab wounds. You can imagine the blood that would have been everywhere. And so because he had a couple little specks on one piece of his clothing, he was the one that had done this. And a lot of people speculate that's ridiculous. If he was the one who committed that crime, he would have had blood all over him. And that's true. That's true. So I do hope Governor Parson, for the sake of his own conscience, if he has one, is gonna do the sensible thing here. And he's gonna do the reasonable thing here. Stay that execution, bud. Stay it. Take a look into this. Take a look at what this prosecutorial team has been up to. Look at how many other wrongful convictions they've been a part of. Okay, come on, Parson. Don't go along with. Don't do it, man. Don't play along with this. Like I said, even if Parson does play along, if he does play along with this, and the proof continues to come out that Walter Barton was an innocent man, I imagine he probably, after all the noise that we created today, trying to prevent him and trying to get him to do the reasonable thing, I think it might be just too embarrassing, and it might like somebody said earlier, prevent him from re-election. That could very well be. I mean, here we were. I mean, it's not like we were silent and we expected him to go and find this all on his own. Nope, we were pretty darn vocal, and we were getting right there in his face, and we were making sure that he was aware of it. So if he chooses to do nothing, and eventually the proof comes out that Walter is 100% innocent, it's going to go badly for him. Because here we are, right? Here we are. So, for you guys, let me put the number back up here one more time. I want you guys to be calling. We're in the last 7 minutes. I don't know if any of you are, but if any of you are calling, or if anybody there wants to call, now that we're in the last 7 minutes, here's that number. So that's the number. Here we are. We're in the last 7 minutes. And so, Walter Barton could use all the help that he can get. He can use all the help he can get, folks. Might have had some injuries to himself, possibly. Yeah, maybe accidental wounds, because of sometimes that happens when you're well, it's been known to happen when people were killing someone. The knife would the blood would cause the knife to slip in their palm, and then the one edge of the knife would actually cut into their palm because their hand would slip down into the blade, and things like that. That's possible. But keep in mind, I believe the lady was like an 81-year-old lady. So she wouldn't have been capable of putting up too much of a fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, it would seem like it was somebody she knew. And somebody that, yeah, I mean, and somebody that was mad at her. Absolutely. Maybe she was, I don't know, maybe she had a relative of some sort that she was cutting off. Like maybe she was the wealthy aunt or grandma or something. I don't know. And there was maybe there was a relative she cut off because they were, I don't know, constantly getting into some kind of knucklehead trouble or another, and she got tired of it. And maybe because she cut somebody off. I mean, this is all pure speculation on my part. So, but maybe something like that could explain it, what it was, and why it happened. So we are in the last 5 minutes, folks. I hope at least a couple people out there have called. The phone number doesn't work anymore? Oh. Well, then, get on that email, folks. I got the email, too, so let me give you guys the email. Contact the governor. You can use this web page right here. You can go over there, and you can send Governor Parson a nice little email and let him know that he really should take a deep breath. Think of how he will feel if Walter Barton is eventually proven to be innocent. How bad he's going to feel that he didn't at least err on the side of caution here. You know what I mean? But so yeah, there's only a few minutes left, but hopefully Walter's attorneys at the Innocence Project are meeting with success as we speak. I would hope so. I would really hope so, or have already met with it. No worries, Jane. No worries. Yeah, I was back in there tweeting and stuff too. And then I decided I wanted to go live and just continue to talk about it and then get some people in here and see if we could get some other people calling, emailing, whatever. So obviously, folks, I will keep you guys aware. I will let you guys know as soon as I know what happened. I will let you guys know. Let's see if Twitter's got anything. That's that. Okay. Jerome, you can't send me a voice message while I'm live, dude. Come on, man. Anyways, all right. So we're at 3 minutes left. It'll be 5:57, 5:58 in Missouri. Don't see Tracy posting anything yet. Let's see here. Just seeing if there's any tweets about Walter. Let's see. When speed and efficiency. Well, I'm seeing. Oh, I don't know. I think. Sorry, I saw something from Trisha, but I think it was a different case. So I'm not seeing anything on Twitter from any of the lawyers yet. So that ping was Jerome sending me a voice message. A voice message while I'm live. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Jerome? Seriously, man. I can't listen to a voice message while I'm live, dude. Come on, man. God. Anyways, no. So I'll have to check that when I'm done here. But so it is now 6:00. It is now 6:00 Central. And I hope, I hope that that Missouri had the sense to not just plow forward on this. I really do. I will certainly, I know I will certainly continue to talk about this case over and over again, in concert with all of the stats coming out of the Innocence Project, showing us how often we get it wrong. And I will be sure to point out this case. No matter what happens tonight, I will be sure to point out this case. Let's see here. Should Missouri, 12 minutes ago, there was a time when a letter from a former state Supreme Court justice would have made a difference. Has that time passed? So 12 minutes ago, here's something that Drizzen said. So this is apparently a paper, and read the latest St. Louis City County News report. What he's saying up here is that Michael A. Wolf should Missouri kill Walter Barton, guest columnist. There was a time when a letter from a former state Supreme Court justice would have made a difference. Has that time passed? At Governor Parson, make the call. So that was about 15 minutes ago. So, that's basically where we're at. I don't know how quickly we're going to find out what's what here. Let's see if let me see here. I got the Innocence thread. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't see anything yet, one way or the other. Other than a lot of people judging by the tweets, people seeming defeated. Unfortunately, I'm so disappointed in America daily from one person. So sorry, Walter, from one person. Um, the United States is not great from another person. Um, yeah, it's rough. It's rough, and I hope, I hope Walter's lawyers were successful, and I hope that Governor Parson is a good guy and saved himself from a guilty conscience. You know, personally. So yeah, so we'll have to see. I mean, I imagine we'll find out here very soon, but so just watch out. Just keep your eye out on Twitter, and everything, and well, and I might even be going. I might even be going live with Jamie Hart later about episode 6 of Trial by Media. So if I've heard anything by then, I will definitely let you guys know at that point. So otherwise, I would encourage you to continue emailing for like a week, no matter what happens. No, if they stayed the execution, then no. If they didn't stay the execution, I encourage all of you to continue sending emails and bury them with emails for the next week, too, if you want. Just because if they do that, they got it wrong and they deserve it. It would probably be on maybe some of the local news outlets in Missouri, which I wouldn't know how to access personally myself. He may not be dead yet. That's absolutely 100% true. Sharon is pointing out a possibility. It's probably likely that they went through with it on schedule, but there is a chance Sharon's right and that he isn't dead yet. We will find out. And like I said, folks, when I know, I will obviously be tweeting about it, and all that. And then, like I said, I'm planning to probably be going on with Jamie Hart later to talk about episode 6 of Trial by Media. And so if Jamie and I are doing that, and I've heard something by then, I will let you guys know then as well. But like I said, if you want to find out first, most likely we're going to hear about it first on Twitter. That's my guess. One of the lawyers involved or somebody involved is going to let us know what happened on Twitter. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'll be going and hanging out on Twitter right now for a little while to see what happens. Okay. Mr. Capaldi pops in here at the very last second. Two big issues. Number one, was Walter Barton proved guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? And number two, should state murder be legal in any circumstance? Well, that's something we've been talking about kind of the whole time here, Mr. Capaldi. Well, I gave my thoughts about death penalty. That I used to have maybe a slightly different opinion about the death penalty prior to making a murderer, but post making a murderer and learning all the things, the stats coming out of the Innocence Projects and learning how much we get it wrong, no, I have an absolutely different opinion about the death penalty now. I believe we have no business taking anybody's life, particularly because we can't give it back. And the Innocence Project stats show us that we get it wrong plenty. So I guess Paul did a video earlier this morning, folks, about this. I actually saw Miss Nyrider had responded to his tweet on Twitter and said "nice, Paul" or something like to that effect. So that was cool. He got a response from Miss Nyrider. So I mean that was very, very cool. I'm glad everybody has been trying to make this, has been talking about this, folks. Over on Tracy Strunsey, over on her Scales of Justice. Laura Nyrider just liked my tweet right now as I was. That's funny. Anyways, all right. So, but yeah. So, anyways, it's like I said. Continue to we're going to find out what happened here. I don't know when exactly, but we're going to find out. I hope the governor had the good sense to decide to take a deeper look before committing to such such an action you can't take back. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for everybody that's been talking about this. Thank you so much. Obviously, Ricky was talking about this yesterday. He was getting all of us fired up about it. You guys know we love Ricky. I think Ricky's fantastic. He's going to be a huge advocate for wrongful convictions moving into the future here. And so when he brought this to our attention, and once I started to take a little bit of a look at it and see what was going on with it, I felt there was enough wonkiness there to say that certainly we shouldn't be rushing to apply the death penalty in this situation, because there's a lot of issues with this conviction, in my opinion. So, like I said, folks, I'm probably going to be going live with Jamie Hart in maybe a couple hours talking about Trial by Media, episode 6. Maybe if I can get Mr. Capaldi to stay awake long enough. I don't know if that's possible, because he does have classes to teach in the morning, or he has teaching to do in the morning. So I don't know if he can hang out for another couple hours, but maybe if he can, I'll get him to come and hang out with us for Trial by Media. And like I said, if I've heard anything by that point, when we do the episode 6 Trial by Media, I will let you guys know what I know at that point. So thank you all for tuning in. I'm so happy that we had almost 40 people in here being concerned about this and listening to me talk about this. Thank you so much. You guys, I mean, this is pretty tragic. If they went ahead and went through with this today, it's pretty tragic. It's pretty sad, and I mean, I think it's something we all need to get fired up about, because we know we see the stats coming out of the Innocence Projects, and we know how often the courts get it wrong. We know. That's why this is all the more chilling to us. That's why. Because we know, we have the knowledge to know that this could be avoided. And we have the knowledge to know that the judges know what we know and don't care. That's another part of it that's really, really sucky. So, all right, folks. As I said, be looking for Jamie and I later. I believe him and I agreed we were going to do one last night. So I believe we're still on, but I don't know. There might be a slight possibility he may not be available. He's been having some interesting thing going on in his real life lately, but I think he's over that now. So I'm pretty sure we're on tonight. Look for us in a couple hours. If I have any new news about Walter Barton at that point, I will certainly be sharing it with you. Look for us then. Thank you for tuning in, and if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.